It's kind of strange. Like, if I don't, I guess I produce and I create, or I vocalize what I think is important, and because I scroll and I'm like, so what do I do with my time today? Where is their direction? And I still look back to what I had said about the sort of preparation for such a event of a social collapse or something, societal collapse. But there's like so many things, and there's so many points of views, and there's so many different things that people think that are important at the very moment. I do like this sort of idea that I've had once, where it was, well, I guess it's not necessarily my idea, but it's just a sort of a collective upvoting of what should be the main problem, or sort of like a sort of like, not a funnel, but like a like what's important. So immigration's still probably important in it. I still believe in the cameras and the AI counting how many people are crossing the border. But then again, do they already have this when they come in? I guess that's a good question. And then how do you like research that? Because I've seen a video of it. I've seen something where they sort of they run to the trucks. That's okay. I'm recording something. I'm saying right now. So it's hard to curate this whole. Um, but yeah, so I know there's a video of people that are running to these sort of trucks, and I guess that's the sort of check-in point for crossing over. And I saw one guy, he doesn't even have a book bag, he just runs. I don't know what that's all about. Everybody else has a book bag and sort of luggage and stuff. This guy's like, I'm just gonna fuck that. So, and then over the intercom, he's saying, don't run, walk, and he says it in a different, I think Spanish or something. So I guess they sort of. Then I've also seen a video where they're coming through the fence, and he's like literally counting like with his finger, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that seems kind of inefficient. So I don't know what the truth is. So I guess there is. All right. So we have California, and we have man, I'm bad at geography. We have Texas, and Florida. So we have all these ways to come in. I guess Texas is really. But then I was there. I remember seeing all the buses. I was right there. I remember seeing all the buses come in. I find that I can't think about the implant all day, because I'll want to ask for help with it. So I sort of focus on other things. Yeah. So so that's why the sort of works thing cracks me up, because it's like, well, what about the jobs just sort of pop out of nowhere? So, UBI. I think like I find the things that I say to be fundamentally true. Like, even though I'll think about them and think about them and I'll think about them and I'll think about the flaws of them and I'll think about all these different things. Oh, that's not important in no way for UBI and all this stuff. And then I end up coming right back to the same conclusion about it. Like, I'm thinking about how the recording that I made about how UBI and a sort of infrastructure where people ultimately have to sort of get paid because there's too many people and not enough jobs. And that's true. I keep thinking that it was sort of this, or I go into the lens of like somebody saying, oh, that's kind of an extreme, but it is not an extreme. But yeah, we all think about whatever's important to us. Right now, there's somebody trading stocks. Right now, there's somebody getting pulled over probably. Right now, there are people in schools learning. Right now, there's somebody sweating on the job. Right now, there's daycare. Right now, there's restaurants and cooks frying up French fries and stuff. There's also horrible things happening, but I don't. But yeah, so there's all these things happening, and it's like fuck. So, what do we all think is important? We're all American, right? So that's, you know, you are an American. You ought to care about your country, because it is you. You are the country. It would help if the president and the administration was actually serious about solving these problems. I don't see how just talking about immigration and talking about getting things done, I don't see how that helps anything. And I know I'm not some like extreme person. I'll never hurt somebody in such a way that I don't know. I look at all these other things where it's like, this person wanted to do this and do this to share their... I'm not that. I'm not evil. There's a video of the Senate I remember posting, and it was like the people in the Senate end up retiring because they get so fed up with it. They're like, there's no progress going on. We just argue in this gridlock, and they end up retiring and going into the private sector. So what does that tell you? You know, and why doesn't the president of this country address that? There is an outcry, you know. I don't want to play White House. I want us to be strong, you know. And then there's another sense of something that I don't really understand that's going on, but probably shouldn't talk about that. But yeah, so strange. All this is so strange. It feels very theatrical, and it's like every day there's a chance to do something. So that's what I think about. All right, so I guess besides that sort of going off rant, I guess, but immigration. But then there's a consensus that there's importing voters. This shit saddens me. I don't know. All this saddens me. But I can't just be saddened by it. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't need an ID to vote, and you're coming in an asylum, and the people are giving you food and bread and going, vote for me. It makes sense. That it also saddens me that this sounds right, or sounds sort of like far right, but it's not. That people are... I can't remember what I was going to say now. Every time I get close to something controversial, the sort of implant sort of holds me. My heart hurts right now. I can't. I had what I was going to say, but I can't say it. I don't know why. I've read these things down before. I fight it. I definitely fight it for sure. But sometimes it makes me bite my tongue, like literally. I just had it and I forgot again. Oh, I have to write it down. That if this is true, that all this sort of like if you can come to America and then get all these sort of benefits and food stamps initially, and you don't have to follow work requirements. I don't believe in these sort of work requirements, to be honest with you. I think it's a load of shit. So I'm very middle. I think it's a load of shit. I think food is a necessity. I think you want your country full. And then, I mean, from my experience, I've gone around and I've tried to volunteer places, and it hasn't worked. So what do you do then? You know, it's the same sort of job situation, but let me not get into that, I guess. But people come to America illegally, and then if this is true, that they get these sort of benefits and rent paid and all this stuff, and they get sort of stimulus checks. If that's true, that this sort of not literal stimulus checks, but housing, food, shelter. This makes me want to leave America and come in illegally. I don't know if you can do that, but it's scary, you know? It's very scary. This. So, it's I say do it for all, not just some. So that's I guess what my point is. Treat illegal immigrants just as though you treat them. If you're going to treat them better, then treat your already citizens the same, regardless of color or. I mean, the income thing is interesting, but hell, if there's a I'm very in this sort of for all and true equality, not this sort of fakeness. If you're going to house illegal immigrants, then you should house the poor. But that won't happen. At least it doesn't. I don't think it will. Alright, so let me move on to something else. So you have immigration, and you have people coming in, and you have this whole peninsula, I guess. Well, I guess America's not a peninsula. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's a massive land. You have people coming in. Maybe that's the most important thing right now. Maybe that's number one, really. I'm telling you, they will have to start taxing these companies. The money is not going to come from anywhere else. That, or you have to reallocate some sort of like Department of Defense budget or some sort of like. The money's there. It's just allocating. And why do I think of these things? Because it's a country that I live in, and I'm very grateful to be able to express such things. You know, there's literally countries that you can't do such a thing, where you can't sort of suggest, or you can't sort of, you just have to go with the flow. And we don't want. Then this is why I say maybe America could sort of pioneer a sort of a direct democracy, something like this. We will have to change the old ways. The playing representative democracy or playing the Senate, like sort of in the sense of like how people play house and stuff. I don't think that's not going to work for America. There's so many there's literally so many bills that are just introduced and just sitting there. So what was the point of creating the bill? So the system is flawed. But again, it doesn't do any good to really just say that. But it really does call upon the leaders, and it calls upon the people that are there to say, well, you know what, this is true, and I'm going to try, you know. But then again, you get the situation where people of the Senate, they're leaving, because they're like, this system fucking sucks. This system doesn't work, I'm leaving, can they retire? I want a president that addresses that, and not sort of sidesteps things. And I don't mean that in a negative way either. I feel like people feel like they're let down or lost, and you don't want that. You don't want that in a nation. But yeah, immigration. So maybe immigration. And maybe we should all stop caring about who the campaigns and all Because honestly, regardless who's president, I don't think. I mean, Donald Trump has got. He's been in there, and he even hasn't been able to get it done. Biden's been in there, and he hasn't been able to get it done. So nobody's been able to really get it done. I think we have this sort of feeling of like, I'll elect somebody that holds similar values, but I feel like that doesn't do anything. I'm sorry if that sounds out of taste, but it feels like that's true. It feels like that's what I've looked at. Just like empty promises and motivation. Something to give the people something to nibble on, while in reality, it's like, yeah, we're working really hard on it. Here's some more bread, you know. And the people, they get down to the crumbs of it, or they get down to the edges of the bread, and they come back and they go, what about this? What about the problem? Oh, here's some more, you know. Either people think like this, and then they get beat into submission of thinking that this is not true that can happen, or people are actually sheep. I can't figure which. Both scenarios saddens my heart. But yeah, immigration. Work works. I feel like I'm gonna remember that one forever. That stupid fucking phrase. Work works. Hey, work works, man. Jobs fall out of the sky. So I guess ultimately what you actually literally could do is write letters to your president. And you can add them at POTUS. And you can try not to be sarcastic or satirical in these sort of letters, but you can convey your concern, and then you just add POTUS. And if enough people do it, then maybe he will see it. That's what I think. I don't know if that's... There's so many people. There was something about, I forget who, somebody quotes, I think it was like, I don't remember, I have to look into that, but the fall of the Romans, and it was like a president or something. I don't know what to say because all these words sound like they have no value. I guess ultimately, it's to sort of form a sort of thing where it's like, okay, immigration, is that important? Yes. Yes or no? Is this important? Yes. And then you sort of try to advocate for that in realms of celebritism, all these sort of things, all these categories: musicians, artists, stock traders, cryptocurrency holders, all these sort of leaders of influence. Somebody's making the decisions. Somebody is. And that's what I was saying. I wish I could have like a sort of like, and it's a positive thing. It's not like what this isn't a, what they call a coup. This is not a coup. This is a effort to repair. It's not a coup. We don't want coups. We want efforts to repair. Maybe that's just the way I see it, at least. Alright, I'm gonna get off here before somebody thinks I'm like a fucking, some crazy activist or something, because I'm not. It's purely logic. And it's just numbers. I fear for the strength of America and the future of America. Or I'm worried, I guess. Alright, that's all. I guess.